Hey everybody, it's the Last RoboKai, and welcome to the second episode of Let's Play Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. Last time we made planetfall, we met Captain Titus, we met Sergeant Sidonis, we met Battle Brother Leandros, and we headed off and met Second Lieutenant Mira as well. It's pretty much most of the cast that we're going to be meeting, aside from one or two exceptions. And we resolved to take down that big gun that's blowing everything out of the sky. And joining me on this demolition work is...
Hey guys, it's Cool Guy, and I am both looking forward to this demolition and not, because it makes so many pretty explosions, but I will comfort myself with the fact that it will probably explode very well itself.
Yeah, a series of explosions. We're gonna fix this one off with a bang, so let's just jump straight in. And here we are, big gun, let's get rockin'.
We're heading back to the command post, Captain. Good luck.
Goodbye, Mira. We'll see her again later.
34.
You know, I'm thinking about it, and I'm pretty sure a series of explosions would be like every rap CD put out by the Ultramarines ever. I mean, that would just be like their eternal collection.
On the high ground.
MC Sidonis. So, first caveat concerning this, I'm really bad at sniping. That's the first caveat of the Stalker Bolter. It's our sniping weapon, and normally I'm someone who's really good at sniping in games, but I think it's mouse sensitivity and the switch between ranged and melee and everything trying to make it all work together. I have to really sort of concentrate when I'm sniping in this game, or it just does not work at all. Luckily, the Stalker Bolter's got a decent fire rate, and that's pretty forgiving.
I will also mention that the shooter boys seem to be preternaturally aware of when you're about to pull that damn trigger. So it's not entirely fair, but that said, I don't have a whole lot of problem sniping in this game.
Yeah, there's no excuse for some of those other shots, so that was like, shoot far to the right, shoot far to the left.
Just get the ship out of orbit, pilot. Lieutenant Miller. The orcs cut off our reinforcements.
Damn it. I suggest we move the unit to a more defensible position, sir.
Do it! And make sure...
It's kind of weird without background noise context in those particular ones. That's sort of a weird thing about the audio logs. You get the audio of the people talking, but there's events happening in the background, and apparently they weren't added in.
I'm not sure if that's something a skull probe normally does or not. Probably not.
It's hard to say. Probably should mention a little thing about the skull probes. Yes, that is actually made out of a real skull. They're a servant of a tech priest that does particularly well in their time. Here's another one.
Personal message, Guardsman Alexander. I'll be quick. The orcs are beating us bad. We're completely outnumbered. Every time you kill one of their bastards, feels like a dozen take their place. My mate Gareth. An orc chopped his leg off and he bled out. Nothing I could do. The officers are all dead. The second lieutenant's taken over. She's keeping us focused. Wait. We're moving out. More soon.
Once we get through these battlements, we will use the breach caused by the rock to enter the gun fortress.
Yeah, particularly loyal servants of the Mechanicus upon death will find themselves hollowed out and used as a servo skull of various uses. That Gretchen just blows up those things. I didn't want to let someone else have the fun of blowing things up, so I killed it.
I've always liked your style.
It's my explosion, mine. No, nobody else can have them. We're in the orc-infested part, if you haven't noticed, judging by all of the teeth and the orc everythings. There's absolutely no purpose to destroying these guns, but I like to think, you're helping out the second lieutenant and their boys anyway, because otherwise they're just getting the crap shelled out of them.
Also, there are altogether too few explosions here without you blowing those up.
Yes, and they do explode quite nicely. They
really
don't take too many bolter hits.
Because like everything else the orcs build, it's kind of built out of scrap metal and prayers.
I also just like this sequence because they close the doors while the rest of them just pile out of the windows. It's a very orcish thing to do, I quite enjoy it.
Whee!
Just all the fun. And it's so easy to just start taking damage in this game. You've got to really know how to create yourself some space.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a very nice duality that they struck. On one hand, you really do feel like a gigantic badass hewing through all of these orcs, but by the same token, you are totally not invincible. And I mean, particularly on the hard mode of this game, you can get yourself turned inside out very quickly.
Hard
These
mode.
cables.
They must be powering orc contraptions across the battlefield.
There is an achievement for doing the entirety of this first part of the game without dying on hard mode,
Assault support pods were dropped in this area.
and I always do something stupid to screw it up. Speaking of doing stupid things, it's time for the jump pack. One of the most fun parts of this game is they just decide, hey, let's have a few stages where you get a bit more vertical movement going, and the controls for the jetpack, slick.
High ground, Captain.
Everything about the jump packs in this game are good.
Yeah.
There is everything about it is good.
Except for one thing I'm about to demonstrate. Once things get going here, that's what the cross is for. You set up your smash attack. Here we go. I go to the smash and I deflect off the scenery.
I think that's more your fault than the game's.
Oh, come on. It was like, here I go. I'll make up for my sniping with my amazing jump pack ability, and then I just beef the whole thing, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, that one was a collision problem, to be serious. But I'm too much of a curmudgeon to admit I was wrong.
It was just like, the minute I saw it in my view, I was like, oh no. Oh no. And here's a new enemy type, the Rocket Boy, although you might know them more traditionally as the Tank Buster. These guys are armed with rockets and will fire them vaguely in your direction. And they twist around quite a lot, so getting hit with them is a bit of pot luck, but they also work as interesting little fire and artillery pieces.
Oh, much like all orcish ranged thing, it's less their accuracy and more how many of them there are. And when there are like a dozen different explosions going off right next to you, yeah, it starts to get a little bit chaotic.
That's just the way we like it. Yeah, this actual area was part of the demo. There was this jump pack section and a bit that will be coming up later. And that guy's gonna regret this. And on we go. It's a little area transition. I always find that music. Door, let's go.
They're really just holding off loading screens. I mean, particularly on consoles, that's a programmer trick. If we force you to wait for a second, it lets us load the next area without having to show a loading bar.
By the same token, I imagine it's so like you can't just like break the scenario in half by jump packing wherever the hell you want.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's part of it. Can force you to attack or clean out various areas, but realistically speaking, that's typically not a big concern of ours. Because you know, if you're doing something that people find fun, like smashing orcs or shooting zombies or whatever it is, people are typically going to do it with very little prompting from you.
Yes, indeed. The interesting thing about this area is there's actually a lot of little different side paths and things like you can see sort of under there. They don't go anywhere. There's nothing there. There's no audio logs. There's not really any ammo there or anything either. It's just they're there if you want to go that way. There's not too many enemies. I like this though. I like this. Orc reinforcements spawning through a pipe. You can just cut them off by killing the orcs, hold them up. The rest of them just get really depressed and leave, I guess.
Because everybody else is just like, I can't be bothered to open a door.
Yeah, that's grog. That guy might have been able to lower himself, but god damn if I will.
I still love that execution.
I love every single one of the executions that you can pull off in this game. There's another particularly gruesome one that'll come up later in the episode too.
Oh, good.
And geez, the rocks. So Space Marines have their drop pods, which are little.
That rock delivered the orcs right into the gun fortress.
You know, the drop pod, as we saw, that was a support version. Drop pod's usually enough to hold a Space Marine squad. They slam down, all the sides open. the Space Marines unhook and they get running. A rocket is a giant asteroid hollowed out, filled with orcs that crashes into the planet, and is usually smashes through everything in the process. Very effective means to breach a large planetary defense system because, well, all you're doing is blowing chunks off a giant asteroid full of orcs, and there's always going to be a lot of orcs when this thing sort of crashes. If you can't make that thing break up before it starts descending into the atmosphere, you're in trouble.
Yeah, they don't even really care that much about casualties there because number one, they're boys, and number two, the more cunning war bosses will sometimes put a pain boy or a mad doc in there that can just do surgery on a bunch of people that are wounded right after they land.
Assuming they don't die, and it's basically just, what are you gonna do? Kill an orc? One thing I always find silly about this game though is just how all the debris is like foam blocks.
Transmechanic 2nd Class Petronius. Entering duty log 31127. Communications console functioning normal. Issues of note? 1. I detected a signal that should not have been. The Transmechanic 1st Class applicant refused to let it in. Yes, I've made mistakes before. That pulsar I thought was a Tau portion, missing the signal from the Fabricator General's transport. But I am not wrong every time.
This fortress is swarming with orcs. Clearing this place will take days.
Those guardsmen cannot survive that long. We find a way to destroy the gun.
Petronius. I do love his log. His stuff is quite funny.
Not wrong every time, man, just most of the time. And he was right this particular time. I mean, he's probably looking at the rock.
Promising.
And here's yet another weapon. This one, unique to the game, never seen anywhere else in Warhammer 40,000. The Vengeance Launcher. It's a sticky grenade launcher.
Everything about it is good.
I'm not particularly that fond of it. I mean, it has its uses. It's very powerful. It's not hard to fire at all. But I just never have as much fun with it as I do with bolt guns and everything else that the game gives you.
I don't think you've truly lived until you've seen, like, an entire wave of orcs coming at you, and then you sticky bomb, like, 4 to 5 things right below, and then they all just sort of disintegrate.
As you can see, you can stick it to the orcs, you can stick it to the ground, you can completely miss with it. That's okay. That was almost a 1-for-1 record.
It worked.
An armory. Sure to be something useful.
Yeah, so it's pretty much a unique weapon made for this game. The Stalker Bolter actually is, you'd think that wasn't the thing, but it is. It was in I think a 5th edition Space Marine Codex. I don't think it was in existence before
here, Captain. Melter charges.
Put those in the right place, and this whole fortress will come down.
We could put the charge on one of the gun's shells.
Leandros, you do the chapter proud.
Yeah, see, Leandros knows what's up. The Stalker Patent Bolter was introduced as being used by Sergeant Tellian, I still can't snipe, a scoutmaster of the Ultramarines whose skills are considered to be so good that he's often loaned out to other Space Marine chapters with like strong ties to the Ultramarines. I've left in the achievement progress thing, so because that's an achievement going where you have to kill throughout the game, either in single player and multiplayer, 40,000 enemies. As you can see, as I've said, I've finished this game about 4 times, 3 regular, 1 multiplayer. One hard mode. I've played a lot of attempts at finishing the hard mode achievement for the whole level in one go, and also it counts multiplayer ones as well. And straight up, only 11,000 out of 40,000. That's a lot of dead orcs and other things, and it's never enough.
Keep trying, brother.
It's just, like, it's just one of those achievements not very many people have, and one day I will get it, because I will always come back to this game and play more of it.
Cutting up an orc like that will never truly get old. You'll just take breaks in between murdering orcs for doing other things like eating and sleeping.
I swear to God, this Let's Play may be the thing that finally gets me to do that hard mode achievement for doing the entirety of the first act. Surely I can't beef it the 10th time in a row.
I did it.
Yeah, I don't know. I always just inevitably do something really stupid, and then like, instead of like trying again, I just sort of enclosed space and breathe and just weep into my hands. It's not a very ultramarine thing to do.
Let me be clear. I did it, but it took me like 3 times as long as would normally be played, and was completely uninteresting to either play or watch. So yeah.
It probably also didn't help. I was trying to do a lot of other achievements at the time of using certain weapons at the same time. It's like, why am I doing this to myself? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm an idiot.
Restricted to upper decks.
Yeah, the Mechanicus voice is going on throughout this area, like this entire area, telling us things. There was in the first episode, it actually said that, you know, even though we're being invaded by orcs, keep working. You can't just slack off just because you're all dying. And it's because they don't. In the grand administration of the Imperium, they don't like things on paper. Being that things aren't good. Context is not something they particularly care for. It is, you know, it is a harsh.
To run short of ammunition.
Not enough cover! Get down! Get down! Ah! Hold on, Captain! Get me a medipack!
Indeed. Well, it looks like the captain of the Cadian 203rd isn't doing so well, so...
I think we know how that story ends, considering that Mira's in command.
Yes, indeed. He doesn't sound like he's taking it very well either. He's got kind of like that foppish guy in danger sound.
Yeah, it would have been best if the agonizing scream had been the Wilhelm, but no such luck.
Now, I just want to say I'm hanging back a lot here because there are a lot of squeak bombs that come through here, and sadly I forgot that I had the footage on a particular file and deleted it, and it was this terrible sequence of me attempting to snipe. You see, I can't hit him in this area. I'm absolutely paranoid about this one because what happened was one was coming and I thought, oh yeah, I'll just hit him with the Stalker Bolter. I'll look really cool. So I shoot, I miss, I shoot, I miss, I shoot, it just keeps happening. I reload, I keep missing it, and then I just sort of stand there and watch sadly as this squig runs up and then kills me. Like, it was just the most, like, it was just the saddest Space Marine performance, and it's not the reason why I ended up redoing the run. I ended up redoing the run for completely, like, just weird technical reasons.
Sure.
But that just made me sad. New enemy type again! These guys are hard boys. They're not just dangerous in close combat, because they're very dangerous in close combat, and being mobbed like that is just not good. But they also go into a berserker mode. You might notice his eyes glowing. He's got red all on him, and that's the really awesome chainsaw gutting that I mentioned. They are really dangerous. They're hardcore dangerous. So you don't mess around with these guys, especially not in a room with like 4 of them. Yeah, that's just me. I think they really want you to die in this section.
That's actually typically, from a design standpoint, I think that's exactly what they wanted, because they will very rarely throw that many of that type of enemy at you again. So from the looks of things, it looks exactly like they wanted you to just be like, oh, I could take these guys, and then have them gut you like a fish.
Now to move the shell into
they can, like 4 of them, that's easy stun lock. They will stun lock you into oblivion if you let them.
Yeah.
You gotta roll the hell away from them.
Yeah, that cannon will happen even on the easy mode.
And yeah, this is the size of the shells that are being used to knock everybody out of the sky. That's actually fairly impressive by all accounts.
We follow the shell up and make sure it reaches its destination.
Aye. Now back to the list.
Gotta go up, make sure the orcs are as dumb as you think. Must be rough being an orc working this though. I mean, it's not exactly the most exciting of work. Yeah, like you can see out there, they've just got a sea of artillery shells. These planetary defense systems, well, they're very much built for the long haul, and just seeing that makes the whole thing of what happens when a Tyranid invasion causes you to run dry to be a bit more spooky and mysterious. See, here, I'm just waiting for him to come on, run into the explosives, and it does actually hurt him a lot, because as you'll see, it doesn't take me long to get him into... Oh wait, no, this is the different one. This one takes me forever. But this is the boring way to defeat them. I just wanted to show off. If you're really terrified of fighting an orc knob, just do this. 1 hit, 1 stun, and eventually,
they'll just sort of fall
there you
over.
go. And then you actually have to fight these guys. You have to do a mouse clicking sequence. Bang. Told you guys at Chops. There's an even better one that doesn't appear in this episode, but there are plenty of hubs left to fight in this game, so don't worry. We'll get them all.
There is no shortage of knobs to fight, and that makes me happy, really. One of the coolest things about fighting a knob is if you're the amount of health that they get back, or that you get back from executing them. Seriously, they'll rocket back like 80% of your health.
And unfortunately, we've got another long ride in the elevator, but this time we have the entertaining dancing styles of Battle Brother Leandros to keep us entertained.
I'm almost hearing the can playing.
Yeah, there are no words for this. I'm not even. I think Sedona's stole his spot, and he's really awkward about it. He wants to say, that's my spot.
Footwork.
But it's like, that's the chain of. I know, dude can juke. Say what you will about him, but he is beautiful on his feet. And I find that a really funny counterpoint to all of the shrines with the weapons in them. This is just boxes with them that are open. It's like, here's our experimental vengeance launcher. Also, here are like 10 others in a box, hanging open.
You have to treat one really, really reverently, otherwise the machine spirits of all of them get really pissed.
I wonder if it's just like a thing like that was the first one they made, and that's why it's of holy status. Like the first, like we're wielding the first bolt gun they ever built on this Forge World. And, the first chainsaw they ever built, and the first vengeance launcher. That would be pretty cool, but there's no actual lore around that.
Yeah, that's really just the game giving you an excuse to give you a tutorial, which. Typically, unless you like reading instruction manuals, you sad and lonely person, you need those sorts of things.
Yeah, you don't. I think also they're in those big giant shrines, so you don't miss them.
Yeah, no, that's precisely why they're there.
Yeah. But I still like it. I still like that it has possible, build your own lore aspects to it. These fucking boxes, though, I swear to God, the physics on them, it's so like I like it because when you slam an orc down, everything just goes flying, but when you brush past them and they just start rolling around like you've just kicked like a small foam brick, it just weirds me out.
Hey man, did you see how manly Titus was just pushing that shell that was 10 times the size of him? Yeah, that box is getting punted like a football.
It just, it's the way it carries on after he punts it, though, is the thing. Like, it just seems like it does way too much, lack of distance. Like, look at that, seriously. That's bouncing. This wall, like, someone's been cutting corners in this place, and it explains a lot about the defense systems in this Forge World. There is Mechanicus, adept in charge of architecture, who's going to be getting his name rescinded from, the records or something.
I like to think that just Titus is glaring at it, and it's just really nervous, so it's bouncing around some more, asking if this is okay.
It's moving out of the way. Back up we go. Little less than that. No. Look how he's just like, you see me. I'm just watching him waiting, and he finally stops. I'm just like,
he still just can't quite get comfortable.
No, he can't. It's just like, where do I stand in the elevator? It's just like, I'm onto you now. Oh, grots. And now we get ourselves a bonus to our Fury. Because the Fury isn't just about chopping everything into tiny pieces, though that is nice.
Authorization is done.
But if that was all it was, it would just be sad.
Now we have Marksman's Mode. And Marksman's Mode is a slowdown when you aim when you're in Fury mode. So it lasts about just as long, but if you're bad at sniping like I am, the game makes things a little easier as well.
Throwing you a bone. Two really nice details that they put into this. First of all, if you watch Titus's shoulders as we pick up these purity seals, they show up on his armor. You check his shoulders as he walks forward again, and he's got two. The other really cool thing, the bolter itself, as a semi-automatic weapon, it has a bolt action that will lock forward if you run out of ammo with it. And so if you reload it before you're totally empty, you don't have to ratchet that back. And it makes for a faster reload. That is totally a gunsmithing thing.
Yeah, they put a lot of love and care into the weapons here. See, I'm just gonna... Yep.
Well, you got more use out of marksman mode than I ever do there.
Yeah, well, your shots also are far more damaging. You can pierce through multiple enemies with certain shots. Actually, that is one thing that the Stoker Bolter is really good as well, is I believe it can pierce, and I think there is an achievement for getting multiple headshots with it.
There's definitely one for there's definitely a thing that you can do in multiplayer for that. I don't know if there's a Steam achievement for it off the top of my head.
So we've got Leandro's pushing it, and I have had go away, Squigs. I have had Leandro's glitch out in this area, and the friggin' shell starts to push itself, and he just sort of stands there and go away, go away, go away. And the funny part is that Squig saved my life because look who was coming. And here's the thing, bang! Like if you can get the full combo off, you can stun these jerks, and then you can bury him inside of a pipe. And there's another feature of killing a knob. If you're surrounded by enemies and you kill a knob with a sync kill, his death just rattles everyone, and everyone around gets stunned. Yes, that his. I'm getting a lot of close-ups of just how over this shit Titus is already. He just has this look on his face like it's just another day in business.
No, I will say, you struck on my favorite way to use bomb squigs with that last one though. I don't even really usually bother shooting them. I just sort of let them come in, I see them roar, and then I roll out of the way.
Yeah, so at least if you're as bad at shooting them as I am, you've still got a chance to not get killed.
I just think it's funny as hell because all you roll out of the way. It's totally Michael Bay stuff right there, and everything except you blows up.
That's the best kind of everybody else explodes. There we go. We've set it off. Let's get the heck out of here because we're about to fire this thing off, and well, melter bomb plus giant artillery shell equals the same planetary defense gun.
Yep.
A bit of a shame.
The guardsmen will get their supplies now.
Captain Titus, you are a man of your word, my lord. Thank you.
What is your situation, Lieutenant?
We're gathering our wounded and are heading to the Andres habitation block to establish an outpost. With the cannon down, our support craft will land there.
Very well. My battle brothers and I must secure any operational Warlord-class Titans before the Orcs can loot them.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's not something you want happening. You don't want a Warlord Titan falling into the hands of the Orcs. And I just want to say, look at the scale in this area. Like that bridge in the distance is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Like the door to the subway is massive. Also, something goes a little weird here. It doesn't quite load up the area, so these guys normally start running a lot sooner. And as we see, I hit a loading spot, and I guess only once you actually go past the loading area do these guys remember they should probably leave. It seems like I'm hitting all of the like weird bugs that you can get, and as you can see, like aside from the Leandros refuses to push the shell one that I had in a previous like test run, then like none of them have been game breaking. It's just like I'm happy for it. I like it when things go wrong in games and they look funny, and I don't think it's a knock against the game at all when things go a bit weird.
The only thing that I would think they could have done better is that, you know, clearly their rolling loading system isn't functioning as well as it probably should, but that could just as easily be a concession for consoles as it is for anything else, because consoles typically have extremely disappointing RAM management when compared to PCs.
What name is that?
Nothing good.
Did the lieutenant not say these tracks went to the complex housing the Titans?
That thing is a battering ram.
Got it where it counted.
I was impressed.
Also, in a previous run, I shot it at like 10 times, missed completely. So there you go. Seriously, look at the scale on this shit. Man.
So good.
Like it's this game does big well.
It really
the
does.
environments are usually going to be a different shade of brown, but geez, they're going to be absolutely huge with a lot of detail put into them. And I think that makes up for the drabness. I mean, it's a Forge world. This place is basically everything's covered in a layer of iron dust. It's just a thing.
Yeah, the catch-22 that graphic designers run into with people worrying about, you know, brown and gray and everything like that is that if you go to a lot of these urban landscapes where these places are set, that's pretty much it. You know, I mean, you can, unless it's a particularly wealthy area with art and a lot of other things there, you're going to see stone, maybe a little brick, and some glass. That's pretty much it.
So everyone should thank the orcs for putting this up with like big red teeth and everything like that, because orc art is just, you know, it's bringing up the value of this Forge world.
I would buy more for the orky part of town than any part else. I'm just saying.
Has a deep wound to the arm. Signs of blood poisoning. That's from an orc chopper. We can't stop him from going septic. Make him comfortable and move on. You've seen these kinds of wounds before? Unfortunately, yes, in my first orc invasion, which I hoped would be my last. Yet here I am again. Right, who's next?
Poor
Every
Ventress.
person in the Imperium, yeah, every person has their own little story. It seems like Ventress has unfortunately had to be present at more than one orc invasion in her life, which is not really good odds. Like, that's really unfortunate.
Typically, it's a few centuries between orc invasions in most cases. Most orc invasions don't really show up due to rock invasions like this one. A lot of them show up simply because orcs are fungal based, and unless you like chop off every single one's heads, the fungal blooms that they have will eventually spawn out, cause grots, cause goblins, which will grow into. And it'll eventually grow into a full-blown orc infestation that you then have to kill again.
Yeah, that's one of the vexing things about the orcs. Is essentially they're their own ecosystem. It's crazy, and even the conditions on the planet dictate exactly what sort of orc you're getting. And some of the toughest orcs are usually born out of really weird circumstances. Like speed freaks, orcs that really like to travel. There's a theory in one of the codex for them. I think it's a codex, or it might have been a White Dwarf supplement. Essentially, that an orc that has to travel a very large distance after like spawning to get to the rest of the orcs again, will often have a fixation on movement and faster travel, because the trip was just a long, painfully boring or dangerous one. And gosh, wouldn't riding a big bright red truck make that a lot easier?
The red ones always go faster, and it goes both. Good job.
Better hit than me.
Frickin' bomb
Better
squid.
hit than me.
For what it's worth, your squad mates are immortal.
Yeah, good old Leandros defusing the bomb squig with his face. We'll have to remember this later on when he becomes much more of a killjoy. Yeah, so like there's lots of different orcs with lots of different sort of behavioral patterns, and a lot of it spawns from circumstance. I don't like this sequence because the train's moving and yet everybody still lands behind Titus when they should land in front of him. It just bugs the shit out of me every time.
Physics!
Time enough.
It's just like, god damn it, Relic, you had one job. You should have like had him turn and then had the others land behind him. It would have worked. And it's just. I know someone was kicking themselves after that, because I'm sure somebody like after it went to publishing went, oh guys.
Somebody in QA probably did that. It's really kind of frustrating QA resources sometimes, because I love my QA resources to death, and they'll point out these things that are just, they make total sense from a low logic perspective, but nobody thought of it during like the 6 hours of initial coding and designing, and it's just like, oh man, it's going to take like another 6 hours to fix this. So the product owners are just like, I don't care. I just don't care.
Speaking of not caring, no, Mr. Knob, not dealing with you. It's just not happening. Emperor, like, the Fury is not useful later on anyway, so you might as well take over the one big roadblock. I don't even know, have you ever mucked up this time limit they've said? Because even I think I come under 5 minutes even, like, just regular playing on this.
It's time to impact.
What, as far as staying in Fury mode? Oh, this mode.
No, as far as this mode, like the scenery is changing. We've gone from being underground to like on the bridge now.
Forward then.
Yeah, I actually did try to hang out here for a while. I basically went up and got some milk. Shortly after they did this, and since I was hanging behind my allies, they kept me covered. And I am 98% positive that you cannot run out of time here.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. It creates a sense of urgency, and I always love to just barrel through it. Like, this area is designed with, like, the way the cover is that you're just going to be charging through it anyway. The cover is really only that useful to the orcs against you when you're coming in, which is really, like, it's a sort of a difference to how you would normally see cover in the games. You know, it's ideally suited to you taking cover from the enemies, but in here it's the other way around. Because once you get on the other side of the cover, there's this guy with the friggin' plasma cannon bombing the hell out of you.
What a jerk.
But now we get to be the jerk, and I immediately tear it off because trying to stand there and shoot it is a death trap. It has infinite ammo anyway. Plasma cannon! Everybody loves the plasma cannon, except in multiplayer if you're not the guy using the plasma cannon. The plasma cannon is the epitome of Imperial technology being completely unreliable and crazy. We won't ever have a situation where it's going to blow up and kill us in this one, but, you know...
That's totally a thing that it does in the setting.
In the tabletop, yeah. Don't bother using the charge attack, by the way. I don't think I've ever managed to land it. Just don't. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble. This is the boss, by the way. There's no health bar, but the dropship's the boss.
I always kind of like it that there wasn't a health bar here. They indicate what's going on just because of how many fires you start on the dropship, but it's just like, you know, no, I wouldn't know that one more hit will magically do it. I can suspect that. I really like that design decision.
Yeah, and I will say, don't use the charge shot on the boss. The charge shot when he drops the knob in the boy. Totally cool. Yeah. It's great to one-shot those guys. You know, they just explode under a cloud of plasma, and there's nothing left of them afterwards.
The knob can be a serious problem if he gets in your face too, because you don't want to drop that plasma cannon. It can be a real pain in the butt to keep it getting back up again.
I've done fairly well on this boss fight, because normally you can lose a lot of health from this guy just railing you over and over again. That's just not too much fun, but there we go. Boss fight is over. The train has been stopped because I don't know why they didn't do the. You know, I do know why they didn't do so. They had to set it up, but they just, you know, orc technology, ram it into the thing, make it explode. You know, that's how we're gonna do it, and that's the end of the episode. Because next time we'll be starting into the second part of the game where we finally actually start to work towards our original objective when we came to this planet, which was securing the Titan. And that's going to be quite fun because it immediately gets complicated. But we're also going to enjoy it as we do it.
I would have been really disappointed if it didn't immediately get complicated, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and nothing, absolutely nothing, complicates anybody's work in the Imperium quite like the faction that we're going to be introduced to next time. And whenever they get involved, well.
It's gonna be a bad day.
You just go, no, I'm out. I'm so out. Back in the Thunderhawk, we're leaving. I've shot down the planetary cannon, but we out. So we'll see you all next time on The Last RoboGuy.
And I've been Cool Guy.
We're gonna get down and dirty next time when we get towards the Warlord Titan and we meet
the guys.